Hey everyone, we're just adding Marian now. Hello, Marian. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Look at us with our perfect timing. Absolutely perfect. I'm going to give it just one more minute because I know there's a number of people that would like to watch this today. Speaking with a mediator seems to be a very big deal in January.
Yeah, it's a busy time. Yeah, I wasn't sure how this is. I don't think I've done very many lives, so this was I wasn't sure how to log on here, but
You're
here
fine.
we
We're
are. So
recording now. Everything is absolutely fine. People are coming on to watch now. It's absolutely fine.
okay.
I've done this a few times now. So I'm going to give it one more minute before we get started. I
Okay.
know there's a number of people on the different Facebook pages for divorce and separation. I see so many questions about mediators. So I want to give everyone an opportunity to come on to watch this. That would be perfect. Okay, and I'm going to get started.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Shaelene McInnis with Books in Line. And I'm here today with a co-author of one of the books that we have written. It's called The Ultimate Divorce Game Plan. There's a group of 9 women who have gotten together to use their expertise in different fields to help women navigating divorce. It is a whole process, and there's so much to it, so much emotion involved in it, and it's really a great idea to get professional advice from people. And Marian is one of the people that I asked to join. She's a mediator, yay. And when you're talking divorce and separation, you're almost always going to bring up the subject of mediators. And people, I think, often are not exactly sure what a mediator does, which is why today we have Marian on. She can tell us exactly what it is that she does and how she can help people going through this often very upsetting process, usually very upsetting process, I guess I'd say. So I'll start with you, Marian. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and just tell us a bit about yourself before I ask you a few key questions.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me on. I am an accredited family mediator, parenting coordinator, and divorce coach. And as you mentioned, I'm one of the co-authors of that great book. And I also write for Divorce Magazine and mediate.com. And I've been in the family law spectrum probably close to 30 years now. I reside in Hamilton, Ontario, and I have 2 lovely children and a little dog.
You go. So it's interesting because, of course, so much work can be done online now, right? That's the other thing, is so much work is done online, so you're able to help so many more people in a larger area. So I'd like to ask, first of all, why did you decide that you wanted to become a mediator? We'll start with that question first. What made you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
Previously, I was a family law clerk, and I had really gotten to see, um, if you will, the vicious cycle of court and what it does to people and how it destroys co-parenting relationships and really hurts the kids that are involved in that process. So court can go on for several years. It costs people hundreds of
Yeah.
thousands of dollars,
Mhm.
right? Mental health is suffering, finances are suffering, everybody's suffering. Nobody comes out of court happy. There's no winners. So I knew
Yeah.
there was a better way, and I wanted to be part of that way. And for me, that way was mediation.
Yeah. Absolutely, I completely agree. I own an accounting company, and we see so many, because I've had the company for so long. We have a lot of our clients who are now separating and divorcing, or people come to us because they're in the process of separating and divorcing, and they need help with their taxes and to qualify for a new mortgage, for example. And we do see that there is no win often in these litigious divorces with lawyers involved. It can be yeah, there's mediation, I think, is essential in this kind of thing, especially when it comes to children. It's funny because, correct me if I'm wrong, but mediators have a lot more involvement in ensuring the welfare of the children, because they seem to be quite more of a focus on the children in mediation rather than with lawyers. I mean, with lawyers, there's the timing. Okay, you get them this, you get them this, but mediators seem to have a different level.
Yeah, it's a little bit different in mediation. The good thing is that parties are selecting what they want. They're having uh, quite a bit of say in what happens in terms of parenting time, in terms of decision making. The goal is always best interest of the child. I
Yeah.
think that kind of gets lost a little bit in
Yes.
court,
Mhm.
right? Mediation's not so black and white. You don't have someone there making the final decision for what works best for your family.
Right.
You have a large
Mhm.
say in that. And that's a big thing, right? You want to be able to say what happens with your family. You want to be able to decide what parenting time will look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, yeah, it's more empowering. I would agree. So as I was saying, we've written a book together with 7 other women, The Ultimate Divorce Game Plan. Annette, if it's possible, could you put a link to the book in the comments? I'm not sure if that's possible, but that would be great. Now, Marian and I and the other women who have written this book, we are doing an online summit for the day where each one of us will speak to our profession and our professional advice as a mediator, financial advisor. We have counselors, uh, a grief counselor, a realtor, mortgage agent, different people who can advise on steps to take when you're going through separation and divorce to make it as smooth a process as possible. Now, this summit is taking place on Tuesday, the 28th of January of this month. It's very inexpensive, $19.95 for a whole day of listening to all of these experts. We have early bird specials. We're working with a lot of people who are in shelters, for example, who need this kind of advice as well. So, and that if you have any link to the registration, that could also go into the comment section. So back to what we were talking about. So there's the summit on the 28th. We have the book that's out. What I hear a lot of questions about is what is the difference between a mediator and a lawyer? And when should you hire a mediator and when should you hire a lawyer? These questions come up all the time. You must get this all the time. So maybe you could speak to that because I'm sure a lot of people would like to know that.
Yeah, so basically, a mediator works with both parties.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yes.
one of the big differences. A mediator does not give legal advice, doesn't represent anybody. We don't go to court or anything like that. A lawyer represents one party, their best interests. They will provide legal advice. They will go to court, things like that. In terms of when should you retain a mediator and when should you retain a lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
So mediation should be your first step in the separation process.
Right.
And then a mediator will conduct what's called an intake meeting
Yeah.
and will screen for power imbalances and maybe intimate partner violence or different things. And at that time, the mediator will be able to assess if that case is suitable for mediation or if you should be retaining legal counsel, and
Right.
they will advise you of that.
Right. And of course, the cost is a lot less expensive for a mediator than a lawyer, but I'm sure, yeah, that with cases where there's abuse or anything like that, then you would want to, or the power struggles. I see what you're saying about that. So, if a couple is coming to you because they're going to divorce, do they have to come to you and already be amicable, or can they come to you if they're not, really getting along at all? Do they have to be in, like, what position do they need to be in before they come to you in the first place?
So I have dealt with no conflict, low conflict, and high conflict. So I mean, I think you need to get an experienced mediator who's dealt with high conflict cases,
Yes.
and that they're comfortable dealing with that, because tensions are high. And then there's some cases that start off with low conflict, and as the case progresses, it turns into high conflict. You're discussing, I mean, two of the most important issues in somebody's life, their children and their money,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
So, yeah, so that can turn high conflict very
Yeah.
quickly. So I've seen that happen. But yeah, definitely, a lot of people think that if you're going to mediation, it has to be low conflict or it's an
Right.
amicable situation. And I don't find that that's the case at all. I probably have more high conflict cases than low conflict cases.
Hmm. And I think this is one of the cases where, again, I'm going to say you get what you pay for. If you're going through separation and divorce, you are already making one of the most important financial decisions you're ever going to make. I see all the time where people post, well, I'd like to do this. I'd like to get a separation agreement and talk to a lawyer and talk to a mediator, but I'd like to do it as cheaply as possible. And I always say, like, you're making a huge financial decision, like one of the biggest of your entire life. Like, make sure you're getting someone who's qualified, and you will get what you're paying for. I've heard of mediators that have done terrible, terrible work, like where one side has been left practically homeless because the balance has not been worked out at all, because they're inexperienced or because they're just trying to get as many cases through as possible, as quickly as possible. So I really do. I'm a big believer that if you're going through divorce and separation, take the time to realize that these are important financial decisions. And I wanted to ask, so besides mediation, can you let us know how else you help people outside of mediation?
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on what you were just saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that divorce and separation is costly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that if you're going through mediation, it's cheap. It's
Yeah.
cheaper, but
Yes.
the separation process is not cheap,
No.
right? And it's about 75% cheaper
Yeah.
than going through lawyers, but there's still that cost.
Yeah.
So if you're going into mediation and it's a high conflict situation, it will cost, it's not cheap, but like I said, it is a cheaper process
Right.
by at least
Yeah.
75%.
Yeah. Okay. That's
On
good to know.
average, if you're retaining counsel, like last I checked, the numbers were about 80,000 per person that you're spending. I have clients who have come to me that have spent over
Yeah.
200,000 with lawyers.
Yeah.
You'll never spend that with mediation,
Right.
right?
Right.
But mediation's not going to be $1,000 you're in and out.
Right. Okay,
Yeah,
that's very reasonable.
yeah,
I mean, you're going to pay if you're going through separation and divorce. I agree.
yeah,
So I was just saying, besides mediation, what other
yes.
services or how else can you help?
So I'm also a parent coordinator. So if there's parenting plans
Ah,
or separation agreement that needs navigating, people are having problems co-parenting, I will help on that end.
yes.
Sometimes you'll find that parent coordination is court ordered.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if a judge has ordered that, you can contact me and happy to help. And
Yeah.
the third way is coaching. So I'm also a divorce coach, and if you are going through the process through court, I will help on the side coaching with whatever support you may need, whether that's helping you gather documents that you may need to provide to your lawyer for trial. It could be emotional
Yeah.
support. It could be a number of things.
That's fantastic. fantastic. Having a divorce coach who's also a mediator. That's, you'd be like, absolutely, people should be hiring you. I mean, that makes so much sense. And on that note, I want to ask, because I know this question is going to come out, let us know, how do people reach you? How can they contact you directly?
Yeah, so you can always go online. Our website is absolutedisputeresolution.com. That's the easiest way. You'll find all our social media links there, our phone number, and our email.
Excellent, excellent. Absolute Dispute Resolution.com. We also, of course, have all of Marian's information in our book, The Ultimate Divorce Game Plan. All of her contact information and links are in there as well. And thank you. It's just amazing. You know, you speak with you, and it's incredible that there's always something to learn. So I really appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing you at the summit on the 28th. And again, if anyone would like to get hold of Marian, go ahead. If you can't reach her, or you for some reason didn't write down her information, you can contact us at Books in Line, and we would be happy to pass on her contact information. Thank you very much, Marian. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.